Welcome to Issues and Answers with your host, Diane Kinderwater. Issues and Answers is presented as a public service to inform, educate, and better the lives of New Mexicans. And now, Issues and Answers with your host, Diane Kinderwater.
Welcome to the program. I'm Diane Kinderwater. There is no shortage of stress in our life, especially during this pandemic. During the past year and a half, have you felt more stressful than normal? I don't have to answer that question. You know what it is. Well, in the program today, we're going to have one of our favorite doctors with us today, Dr. Patrick Nuzzo, and he's going to explain that this mental, emotional, psychological stress has some physical components. You know that. You got the neck problems, you got the back, you got the arms, all of these related in some way, possibly, to stress. We're going to discuss what he has seen in his patients over this past year, how the stress has changed into these physical abnormalities, and what we can do to get out of it, because we're all ready, more than ready, to get out of this pandemic and the stress that it's caused in our life. So this is going to be actually an uplifting program. We have some hope, and Dr. Nuzzo is going to tell us all about our future and how healthy we can be. Stay with us. How do we get out of the stress from this pandemic that we've been in this past year and a half? Well, if it comes into some physical ailments, the answer can be kind of simple. The answer is really simple, and Dr. Patrick Nuzzo is going to explain what the answers are, but carrying them out, well, that's up to you and I to do, so that might be a little more difficult. It's carrying out what we can do to get out of the stress. Dr. Patrick Nuzzo from Southwest University of Naturopathic Medicine, our favorite doctor, so thank you for being part of the show.
Thank you, Diane. It's always such a pleasure to be here with you and share with you and your guests, really the word of health. And, the health is wealth, right? Food is medicine. And if we've ever seen that more than now, right, we've really got to take a look at, what we're doing to our bodies physically, what we're doing to our bodies emotionally, and how that impacts us. And, this has been a tough year for people. Naturopathic medicine has been open through the entire pandemic. We were providing for patients through the entire pandemic. And, really what we were seeing was just a lot of, people feeling anxiety, people feeling, hopeless, locked down. They're feeling, just closed in. And when you feel those things mentally, it actually shuts something down in the body, because the mind is the nervous system. The nervous system kind of, oversees all the musculature. So if you're feeling constricted, it's going to make the muscles do that. The parasympathetic nervous system and the sympathetic nervous system are aligned with your emotions.
So even if we haven't been, let's say during this pandemic, exercising or doing healthy things, if we haven't been doing all these, or even if we have, still the emotions can take control of the body and
absolutely
make you feel pain, even though you're saying, well, I worked out, I went for my walk. I mean, everybody's been,
and that all helps. That all helps, but there's more stress than normal now. I mean, people are worried about getting sick. People are worried about their immortality. This pandemic scared the bejesus out of a lot of people.
What happened with your patients? What did they tell? I mean, you're telling us things that we all probably have been feeling.
Yeah, people felt, headaches, backaches, neck aches, all coming on. And let's not forget, too, that we shut down our offices, right? And everybody took their computers and they went home and they set up on couches and beds and kitchen tables. So the ergonomic, situation from an office that you're set up properly to a home in a makeshift office, people were crawling into my office because they're in such bad ergonomic positions doing their work, sitting there at a coffee table for 6-8 hours a day, or on their bed for 6-8 hours a day doing their laptop. I've got a son that's in 7th grade, and he did school from home. I mean, they're in their beds, they're not getting, it's interesting how people coped with this, right? And, stress, aches, and pains are a production of, ill will, right? Feeling bad, feeling scared, right? I don't know about you, but if I get upset, I'll feel it in my stomach, right? I mean, a lot of people do. You start to, so you get bad news, you kind of get that sinking feeling. Well, people have been in that sinking feeling for a year and a half. And the muscle memory and the muscles take on that sinking feeling, right? So you've got to feel better to feel better, right?
Wait. Repeat that, Dr.
You've got to
Nuzzo.
feel better to feel better. It's about, is it, okay, we've been in this, right?
Yeah.
A year and a half now. We're coming out of it. People are getting vaccinated. Obviously, things are opening up. It's getting busier at stores, But people have to feel better now. You've got to start to, feed yourself well. You've got to start to breathe again. You've got to start to get out there and move again. And it's just so important.
So this was very real. The people who knew about you, knew about naturopathic medicine, got relief. They came in to see you, but there's a whole myriad of people who don't know that you exist.
Right. Well, a lot of people
and did not get the help, so they're still in that position.
They're in that position. They're probably taking medications to help them with their pain and inflammation, right? I mean, they're getting aches and pains, and they're doing the same things. So,
what do we need to do? Okay.
Well, in my practice, right, we have the school, Southwest University of Naturopathic Medicine, and we have my clinic, Naturopathic Medicine in New Mexico. And Naturopathic Medicine in New Mexico, every major insurance company in New Mexico covers naturopathic treatments, okay? So the people who had insurance benefits and were working through this pandemic, we were never busier, right? Because people were coming in and taking care of themselves. Now, the intern clinic at Southwest University of Naturopathic Medicine really saw a diminish in patients because the majority of our patients for this college are senior citizens. And what did senior citizens do in this pandemic? They hunkered down, they stayed home, right? So they weren't coming out, and they were just in fear. And we'd get calls every day, what can I do for myself? I can't come in, I don't feel like I can come in. Is there anything that we can do? So, my interns were on phones with people and calling them up and kind of talking them about stretching, talking them, depending upon how strong and how fit this person was, we would give them exercises and routines to help them deal with their stress. Anybody who's pretty healthy, right? They need to get out there, and they need to go out there and walk. They need to stretch. We talk about using exercise balls with our patients all the time. Those big 55 centimeter exercise balls. If you're at a table all day like this, or at a computer all day like this, your body is, it's really constricting. Getting on that exercise ball, opening yourself up and rolling on that ball stretches the spine out, brings oxygen, brings innervation to the rest of the body. And that's what you need. You've got to feel good in order to feel good.
That's interesting.
So it starts in the head. You've got to, is it half full or is it half empty?
But you got to feel good, meaning a little bit of hope. People get depressed if they're I can understand if they're hurting.
Right.
But you got to tell yourself there's hope, and then you can think you're feeling good to actually feel good.
That's it.
Let's go through, we talked about the exercise ball. What about the ibuprofen and those medications for the aches and pains? They mask things.
Well, they mask things, and sometimes you absolutely need to do that. If you can't sleep, but you got to look at doing something else besides just taking medication all day long, right? If you're taking medication, you are masking something, right? So someone taking medication for low back pain or taking medication for a headache, there's ways that you can correct that problem manually where you don't have to take medication, right? Manual manipulation, whether it's by a naturopath, a chiropractor, a physical therapist, an acupuncturist. All those manual therapies help people to get themselves back into alignment, get better nerve circulation, less inflammation, right? Better circulation. And if you do those things, you're going to cut down on pain where you don't have to take medication. It's never a good idea to be on a medication regimen.
We're going to have future programs with you, Dr. Nuzzo, regarding relentless back pain and the neck pain.
Sure.
So we're going to delve more into those certain areas. But getting out of this pandemic, getting out of the stress that we put on our lives, a lot of people are still, of course, in the stress. I said at the beginning of the show, because I've spoken to you before, the solutions can be simple. It's just carrying them out and starting with a simple simple as getting one of those medicine balls, they not medicine balls, they're those exercise balls, or just stretching. Stretching is a simple thing you can do in your home.
Absolutely, and everything is online right now. The resources for stretching classes and yoga classes, and it's all online now. People can find whatever they need online, right? So you could do it by yourself, but you can get some instruction by going online and getting some good stretches. But let's simplify it even more. The number one thing.
I know what that is. We're going to start with. I know what the number one thing is, but I want to stay with, like, in the chair. What can people? Many of our viewers might be senior citizens.
Let's
start
older. With, if you're sitting in a chair like this. Let's sit straight, right? Let's sit straight, feet planted on the ground. If we're crossing legs, that kind of throws the body off. We want to plant ourselves. We want to sit with our sit bones down on that chair and have a good posture.
I can't because my hip hurts. I can't because my hip hurts.
It happens. It happens.
So, any suggestions of stretching in the chair? Just turning your
head, stretching your arms up, right? Just kind of moving, just getting some range of motion again. It's so important. Head down, head up, roll those shoulders. It's just getting movement, and people are not doing it. I've seen people, they call it COVID-19. A lot of it is because people have gained 19 pounds, right? And that's not good, because if a lot of people gain weight over the last year and a half. And that weight is inflammation. And that inflammation creates pain.
Have you seen your patients gain weight?
I have.
I have. No comment. I understand it, but you've seen it. You hear it.
I not only see it, they complain about it, because, even people, they're not driving to work. They're not getting out of their car. They're not going up steps. They're not walking across campuses, right? They wake up, they go sit at their counter, they start eating, right? They're eating, everybody's upset. People go to foods that are comfort foods.
The fridge is right there all day long.
That's it. So routines have been broken for people.
Okay, so the simple, sitting straight, doing this. First time I know Mary Kay is over there. Well, it's true.
Yeah.
So, first thing in the morning,
absolutely.
Do the neck. That's simple, but
absolutely.
If everybody right now moves their neck, they're going to see, ooh, it's tight.
Yeah, it's tight. And people will feel, as you stretch your neck side to side, you'll feel those tight areas, and you could even reach back in there and you could rub those areas that are tight, and it brings circulation. But, stretching over that ball first thing in the morning, that is really, go forward first, but then go backwards and do it backwards. Put the ball in a doorway, right?
So it doesn't move.
Put the door right in the middle of the doorway, sit on the ball, grab the door jamb, and then just scoot your feet out and you're rolled back over the ball, and you'll have the door jamb to hold you and to brace you. And when you're done, maybe a minute or two, don't try to sit up off the ball, roll all the way and sit on the ground.
Well, you can't get up though. Then.
Well, you can get up. That's exercise. You can get up, and you have to learn to get up. You have to start moving again. People stopped moving.
They really did.
So take a walk. You get a break, take a walk. Act like you're walking from your car to your office, Get that exercise in the morning, Don't just sit. And now people are starting to get out more.
They're starting to get out,
going into offices
more
now.
People are learning to work from home, though. That's
the truth.
That's the truth.
And if that's what's happening, then you've got to get into a routine of more exercise, more movement. Don't do less movement. Less movement, you get stiffer. The stiffer you get, the older you get. I don't care what age you are, right?
The stiffer you get. Well, that's what I was reading your book, Naturopathic Manual Medicine for the 21st Century. Actually, it's right by my bed. I've read it. It's easy read, but it's scientific, medical, and that's not my forte, so I have to understand some of these constrictions. But I liked where you said about, of course, the muscles and connective tissues, but when we exercise our muscles, they can become stronger, but we have to tax them to get stronger. And with our connective tissues, we have to work those to become more agile.
More agile and stronger, because you see, it's the connective tissues that keep the body together, right? The muscles move the body, but it's the connective tissues, right? Connective tissues, ligaments hold bone to bone. Tendons hold muscle to bone. Fascia runs between every layer of muscle. So those connective tissues have to be healthy, resilient, and fascia in nature is viscous and gooey. So when you're moving, you're turning your head, the muscles should be rolling over that viscous fascia.
But that should be not a concern. Actually, the students who are studying at Southwest Naturopathic will have more patients in the future if people are working more from home in the
There's
future.
no question about
There are
it.
going to be more people unless they get into this routine.
There's no question about
You're
it.
going to. So
We're busy.
You're busy, but you're going to become busier, and these students are going to have more patients because people are not getting up and going to work. They're working from home.
That's true. And hopefully they'll find their way towards manual therapy so they don't rely on medications in order to mask all these symptoms.
So we discussed the physical, little bit of stretching, movement, and I know this. As I said at the beginning of the show, simple things to do, and the most simple thing that we can do is
hydrate, drink water. You know, I mean, it is so important. I mean, best example I can give you, you take your sponge and you clean up the sink at night, you wring that sponge out, put it on the sink, go back in the morning, what's it look like? Hard and crusty, right? We live in New Mexico. How do we make beef jerky here? We dry it out, right? That's what happens to our tissue. If we don't get pure water on a daily basis and 6 to 8 glasses, our body is really crying out, and it does dry up. And when it dries out, it loses its resilience, it loses its movement. We stiffen up, right? Everything moves through the body, neurovascular bundles. The spine has nerves coming off of it. The nerves team up with blood, team up with lymph, and take that blood, nerve, lymph to all the different parts of the body, right? In a hydrated body, those neurovascular bundles move very freely, right? In a dehydrated body, right, it's like stepping on the garden hose. You're not getting that good circulation. And when circulation is diminished, right, because of non-movement, inflammation starts. When inflammation starts, pain starts.
Because
and then you're going to take
the inflammation touches the nerves.
Well, the inflammation, exactly. The neurovascular bundle has just got inflammation around it. It's not doing its job. You got your foot on the garden hose. You got to take that foot off the garden hose again and get that tissue to start to be resilient and moving again.
I'll even say to I've begun to get cramps in my legs.
Okay.
And my son will say, Mom, did you drink enough water?
There you go. Good for Kenneth.
Did you drink enough water?
Yeah. And beyond that, did we get minerals in that water, right? Because, you know, unfortunately, the soil that we're getting our foods out of right now is depleted and devoid of minerals. We've stripped the earth, you know, of the and the topsoil of these nutrients. So we've got to make sure that we're getting food that is nutrient packed, right? It's our job. It's our.
But should the water have nutrients in it? Should the water have minerals in it? Because I was discussing with you, purify, and in your book,
right?
You discuss.
I think I do, right?
Purified water.
Purified water.
Purified
water, if you use a filtration system, it'll take out to 1 micron and it'll take the bad minerals out, leave the good minerals in. Or people use distilled water. Distilled water, it's sterile water, right? There is no minerals in that. So a mineral supplementation is really important. But distilled water is very, very, very good water, right? It's pure. It's not, you know, coming out of the tap water where you're having all your impurities in it. But you still have to add minerals to your diet if you're not getting it out of your
water. What kind of water do you drink, Dr. Nuzzo?
Well, I use filtered water. I have a 3-phase carbon filter system on my house and in my office. But I always add sea minerals, a little supplement to my water, you know. And I'm drinking mineral water throughout the day. It's part of my food, you know.
You drink mineral water?
Well, I drink water, my
Yes.
purified water, and I put minerals in it.
What kind? Sea,
Liquid sea. I buy this product. It's Australian sea minerals, right? It's
like from the ocean?
Aussie. Exactly. It's big ocean ponds. They dry the minerals up. You get the powdered minerals, and then they liquefy it. And I use it in my water. And there's many, 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 many products out there that will do this for people, because again, the food is not.
If you take a vitamin, if you drink the purified water and take a multivitamin, has minerals in it?
Some do,
Okay.
some don't.
Oh.
Some are more, assimilable than others. There's a lot of discretion that you have to use when you're buying your foods. And I look at supplements as food, right?
Well, I was telling you I was interested in getting a distiller because I heard someone just mentioning they had a distiller, and I was overhearing a conversation, and they found all the crud out of the Albuquerque water
Exactly.
that they said that we don't want in
The
our body,
impurities.
and they found it in the distiller. So I said, to you, I was interested in getting it, but I add a little drink mix to my water, and you looked at it and you said it's poison.
It's poison.
Oh, boy.
But you add minerals to your water, or you add fresh lemon to your water, or you add fresh lime to your water. I'm sorry to tell you, but that product has aspartame in it, right? And aspartame is not a friend to us, okay? It's a diet product that some people are linking to, neurological problems. And, it's not a good product to put into your body. Drinking water can be a little boring. It can be. That's why you could put some lemon in it, or you could put some minerals in it, right? My water tastes delicious when I put 10 drops of my mineral solution in my purified water. It tastes alive. You could feel it. It's delicious. There's a smoothness to it.
Okay.
And now if I drank that, it would be tinny. I'd feel that tinny taste. It's artificial. You could taste it almost immediately, and it's not a friend to you.
How long
You're
have you been
better off drinking sugar. You're better off using sugar than using aspartame. I wouldn't suggest using sugar, but you're better off than aspartame.
How long have you been drinking purified water?
All my life.
Oh, you knew
I
this.
was fortunate. I grew up in a family where my uncle was a naturopath. My uncle actually studied with the founder of naturopathic medicine, right?
Dr. Oakley?
Dr. Oakley Smith. And my uncle, and this is back in the 50s, he graduated, right? So you could imagine, I come from an Italian-American family, and my uncle became a vegetarian, and he was way ahead of his time, right? And he did herbs, and he did foods, and if I didn't feel good as a kid, I went and got a treatment. I didn't go to a doctor. I went to my uncle, right? That's what I knew. And that's what we have to go back to. You've got to go back to the sources. So, I'm 67 years old, Diane, right? I'm not on any medications. I've never been on any medications. I never plan to be on any medications, okay? I use food as medicine.
And let's get into the food part. Fresh, farm to table, avoid the freezer section. Cook your meals, don't microwave them, and look for the seasonal fresh items. Let's go into the supermarket or the farmer's market, which we do.
Well, you're saying both, because farmers markets are wonderful, but all the supermarkets in these areas are all now carrying fresh produce, organic produce. That's where you have to go in the grocery stores. You got to go and buy the foods. Diet. It's a big, right? My diet recommendations are, I don't care if you're a vegetarian, a fruitarian,
Fruity.
Your job is to find the best quality food and ingest that. So if you're eating meat, okay, you have got to get grass-fed, pasture-raised animals that are eating the grass instead of eating corn and eating feed off of feedlots that's got GMOs in it, that's got that's just doesn't have nutrients, because that food from that animal is nurturing you, okay? That food is giving you sustenance, right? So you got to get food that not only is healthy, right, but makes the soil healthy. If you're eating food that's raised on soils that are not tilled, that are used to restore this, there's a whole science out there, soil restoration, right? Mm-hmm. And if we can restore the soil, we could restore our health. If we could restore the soil, we have an answer for climate change, right? Because our soils are tilled off.
What about the plants now that they're growing not in the soil, but they grow, what is it called?
Hydroponically. You know, I mean, there's organic methods of hydroponic gardening, which are very good because they're tending that soil, and there's non-organic hydroponic gardening. Food is medicine. You have to eat the best quality food you can find, whether it's vegetables, whether it's fruits, you know, and my diet, my family's diet, I eat organic foods, and I have for years, and people say, oh, it's a waste of money. It's not. It's not. It's not sprayed. It's grown in soils that have nutrients still in them. And the soils that it's grown in are healthy soils. And that soil is helping to capture carbon and to capture water, you know. We got big problems with climate, you know. And this is, if we all did our part and ate foods that are grown in regenerative soils, we can not only heal ourselves, we could help heal the planet. And that's a goal.
Do you think you could ever taste the difference between an organic?
Absolutely.
Sorry.
Absolutely.
I'm sorry to ask a naive question.
Yeah, absolutely. And it's alive. It's just like the water. It's like drinking aspartame in water or drinking sea minerals in water, right?
But you can taste the difference.
You can taste the difference. I mean, your palate is there. You could taste the nutrient. You know, I'm fortunate. We have I call it a salad bar. We have a garden, a greenhouse, and a garden in there. And, you know, I've got, 30 different lettuces and herbs, and it grows year-round in my greenhouse. So I could get to go in there and I cut my food, you know. This morning before I came down here, I was bringing a big bag to my office because they kind of count on me. I went a big bag of fresh cut vegetables right out of my backyard, you know. And everybody can do it if you make choices to do it. You know, it takes.
Do you think there's a trend? I think people are getting back to.
Absolutely, absolutely. People are going back. People are working at home. People are understanding. You know, again, I'm not going to say it. I'm going to say it again. Food is medicine. Food is medicine. You have got to get that message. If you, we're getting vaccines, we're getting help, but you got to stay healthy because these pandemics, you see how fast they can come. There could be another one. I don't want to put fear out there, but
you gave us tips.
I don't want to be fearful of it. So every day I vaccinate myself. Every day
with food and water and
every day
and stretching the neck.
That's
Dr.
it.
Patrick Nuzzo. Thank you. You'll be back and share more.
I look
Southwest
forward to it.
University of Naturopathic Medicine. Thank you for being our guest, making the effort to come down here.
Yeah, absolutely.
And giving us these tips that, again, are simple. We just got to do them. Thanks for watching the show. I'm Diane Kinderwater. Make it a great week with your family. We'll see you next time. Bye-bye.
Issues and Answers with your host Diane Kinderwater is presented as a public service to inform, educate, and better the lives of New Mexicans. To comment on today's program or to purchase a copy of any Issues and Answers program, visit sunbroadcasting.org or call us at 505-345-1991.